Today I decided to take a risk. Now you might not exactly understand what I'm talking about, so let me just explain what I mean. I've played a fair number of Minecraft parkour maps in my time on YouTube. Some of those have been fine, but others have not. Like seriously, some of those have actually been just straight up brutal. And one thing that you'll find in common with those ones that were brutal is that they all tend to involve getting from the start to the end and were not designed for speedrunning. And this map I'm on right here is also not especially designed for speedrunning, so that meant it could potentially be very difficult. So I really had to trust that it wouldn't be that bad. So the map I'm on, by the way, is Superblock by comflixer. Overall, it's a pretty simple parkour map, but there are a few little tricks up its sleeve. There are 9 levels which progressively get longer and harder, and the majority of the levels use power blocks like all these ones behind me. By the way, before I started the map, I spent something like 3 minutes testing out each one, because, you know, I wasn't exactly sure what all of them did. I gotta say, some of them had rather unexpected effects for their colour. We'll get back to that later. But first, let me deliver this message. Hey, Gen Z be like. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I just want to mention that if you want to play this map for yourself, as always, you can click the link in the description down below. With all that out of the way, let's move on to my playthrough of the map. The very first level was starting it off pretty simple. It wasn't particularly interesting or anything. But then there was one thing I noticed. Basically, because every time you fall on this map, you don't actually auto-respawn, you have to go all the way through the void. It meant that every time I would fall, I'd be waiting a while. Oh, that's gonna be annoying if every single time we fail, we have to fall out of the world. Okay, well, we'll get over that. And that would probably get really annoying very quickly. But not quite on this stage, because this stage was extremely short and I was finished it in probably something like 2 minutes. Okay, so let's jump over this. Okay, just single blocks. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we're finished the first level. By the time I got to level 2, I was already being introduced to power blocks. The first one I was introduced to were the brown blocks, which are supposed to give you blindness, but there's a very good reason why I'm not standing on them. And that's because instead of really giving you blindness, for some reason it kept just flashing the screen something like 20 times a second. If you're epileptic, do not watch this next section, because seriously, that would be a bad idea if you did. Oh god, that is bad. It's not blindness, it's just a seizure. Those blocks were also involved in this labyrinth snake thing, but it was really not that bad at all. The thing about the snake though was that it did give me some rather traumatic flashbacks to one of the worst stages in the previous map I played, Shuffle Parkour. Following that, there was a rather easy end, but I just cannot ignore what happened right here. Yeah, so this doesn't seem to be very hard. With level 2 finished, it was time to move on to level 3. This level starts off by introducing the jump boost blocks, and they take a little bit of time to get used to, especially at the start of this level where you have the red blocks that kill you alternating with them. After that section you have another snake, but once again it's not a problem. Yeah, it's just one of those typical go in the middle of the block mazes. There's a brief intermediate section. Yeah. Oh, okay, we weren't at the end. I was getting a bit confused there. And then after that, there's another snake, and for some reason, there are signs on the side here that say no cheating. Alright. No cheating, no cheating. How can you cheat? What? Now, I really don't understand how you're even supposed to cheat here. I mean, look at this. Like, what are you meant to do? What do they mean by no cheating? Do they mean, like, jumping over the gap? Because I think that would just be more difficult. So yeah, those signs were a little confusing. Well, so there are a lot more parts to this level than the previous ones. We're already past, like, 3 checkpoints now. After the snake, there was another really simple part, followed by a slightly weird ending that mimicked the start of the level. Okay, jump over that. Oh, that's scary. Things really started to escalate a bit in level 4. This was the level that introduced both the conveyor belt blocks and the magnet blocks. Basically, how they work is when you go under them, you actually stick to the ceiling of them, and you can move around like the ceiling is the floor. Ah, this is what they were talking about with the whole sponge thing, with it being a magnet. So in this level, there's a snake that involves those magnet blocks, but like all the other snakes, it's really not that bad. From there then, I got to the brown blocks again, and for some reason, this time they actually were working correctly. They were just reducing my render distance instead of making the screen flash like crazy. Then there is another rather trivial snake involving the conveyor belt blocks. Okay. So I guess in this one we just go to the edge. And then another section involving the blindness blocks. I should probably point out at this point that you can't actually sprint when you have the blindness effect. It's not really an issue when it comes to making jumps, but it can trip you up a little bit because your timing is a little off. And I fell victim to that several times. A little bit after that, there's a part where the path splits and you have two options of where you could go. You can go an absolutely extreme route where you have to do a bunch of jumps around a block, or you can be normal and just do the bit behind me there. We're not doing that path anyway, because I can tell just how awful that path is just by taking one look at it. Because doing a single one of those jumps around a block is kind of difficult, but like it's not insane. But like having to do 4 of them in a row would literally be the complete end of me. Like, there's no way I would be able to do that. And let me be clear, this normal part isn't that hard, but for some reason I had quite a few annoying fails in it anyway. Right. Oh, come on. I made that bit and then I fell by like drifting. Oh. But those fails could definitely be down to me rushing and not because of bad design in the map. The end of the level is very easy, but it did scare me a little bit because I thought I was about to overshoot it. I just follow this. And we made it. Oh, that was scary. I nearly overshot. Okay. But thankfully I didn't, and instead I was on to level 5. This is the level that introduces water, and if you go into the water, it will kill you. It's not that sensitive though, so you could actually even get in the water enough for it to push you, but you still won't die. So knowing what kind of window I had, I was able to make it through that section without too much difficulty. What is this torture? Oh, we're managing it. Oh, we managed to not die there somehow. Okay. I was really determined to absolutely just speed through the next sequence because, I mean, just look at it. It looks like a sequence you'd speed through, right? But then towards the end of it, there's another water section that basically forces you to stop. It's really not that much of a problem though. Okay, wait for that to stop and then go for it. Right, yeah. Alright, we're finished level 5. And with that, I was on to level 6. So level 6 introduces the light blue blocks, which kill you when you go on them. Now let's be real here, there aren't a lot of parkour maps where the light blue blocks indicate death, are there? No, I don't think so. And I had a feeling that this fact would end up leading to my death. And would you look at what happened right here? I fell for it. Jump on the edge. Oh, right. So yeah, I did fall for it. That sign on the block, by the way, is actually extra stupid because you're not actually meant to go on the block at all. You know, it could be worse. You don't need to jump on that block at all, sure. Following that, there's a moderate difficulty section where you're introduced to these obsidian blocks that teleport you upwards. As I mentioned, it's moderate difficulty, so you really shouldn't struggle too much on it, but I personally did have something like 3 or 4 really annoying fails on here, and it wasn't really putting me in the best mood. Past that, so now, oh my god, that like pushed me sideways when I didn't even press like the sideways key or whatever, yeah. Alright, let's make over there. I was not holding any kind of key when I fell there. Dude. Still in that section, you're given the option to do a normal jump or a neo jump. To show off, I tried the neo jump once because doing a jump around a wall just once isn't actually that bad, but then I saw I'd have to do it again, so I decided, yep, no, there was no chance of me doing it. Ah, never mind, not doing that. So, normal jump. There we go. Okay. Following that, there's this section which involves water spraying out in the sequence. And it looks pretty difficult because the water does tend to move very fast. Okay, I'll go take a look at the pattern. Oh, I don't know. That seems kind of difficult. But it's really not that bad. Okay, well, we did it there. That works. And then after that, there's another snake, but it was really no problem at all. This little section here wasn't really that much of an issue, but then the part after it. Oh my god, I still do not actually understand how this part works at all. Alright? It is an abomination. This part has something like 4 different paths you could take, but they're all completely impossible. The first path I tried was jumping from this pillar here onto the ladder behind me, but that distance was way too long for me to have the slightest chance of making it. We jump over the tops of those. You could probably make that jump. I bet you can make that jump. Like, no joke. Oh, I could have saved myself there. Oh. After a couple of rounds of fails on that, I tried jumping to the ladder from here, but that was clearly impossible too. There we go. Right. I am not sure how to do that jump. Same thing goes for this ladder. And there's also no way you could reach the ladder to the top right of me. Ooh, that seems really tough. I don't think you could do that. So I'm just gonna have to try that, like, pretty difficult jump. Like, it's not insane, but yeah, it's kind of tough. But if I get the right alignment, I need to not let go forward. That's one thing I need to, not do. Technically, there was this hard path you could take, but you have to literally be God to do it. And I could tell just looking at the map that that was not how the creator intended you to go. I mean, seriously, why else would there be all this stuff behind me? My God! Don't want to fall immediately. Oh my God, no. Oh my God, why do I keep, like, stopping in midair? Nope, that didn't do it. I'm just in an endless cycle at this point. So in the end, I decided to just continue on and fly to this part and do the most complex section that's actually possible. Finishing off the level was really not that bad. I just took one big jump onto the green, came down from it, and then it was just a few easy jumps to the end. Is there? No. Level 7 was not as bad as level 6, but it still definitely wasn't a cakewalk. This level tries to troll you in a couple of different locations, and I fell for one of them right here, where you have a sign that is kind of hard to read unless you fail. There we go. Alright. Oh no, go back. Apart from that one little troll though, I just finished the cave section very quickly. Following that, there's this outdoor section with a tree, which is really no problem at all. River, don't fall into the river. Yeah, I know, don't be that man in Lego City. Yep, we're going up this. Okay. Yeah, the levels are getting a little bit more creative. Okay, that's cool. And then moving on from there, there's this final nether themed stage, but despite its appearance, it is really not that bad either. Hard worlds. Doesn't seem that hard, bro. I wouldn't say this level is free, but it definitely is not tough. Oh, alright. Okay. Oh, that's not bad. Okay. Level 8 is a bit of a step up from level 7, but most of the difficulty comes from the puzzle rather than the actual jumps. When you start out the level, you're given a couple of jump boost blocks that make the jump seemingly impossible, but then you realize there's this little trick you could do. Hold on. If you hit your head off that ceiling instantly, how are you supposed to... Oh, right. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's a little exploit that they're actually requiring you to take use of. After that, there are 2 very easy sections. Okay, this does not kill you, which is kind of interesting. But then after that... Yep, there's one of those things again. Right, so if you watch Shuffle Parkour, you'll know that I absolutely hate doing anything that involves a sprint across a 1 block wide gap where you have a ceiling that prevents you from jumping. The main reason why I hate these movements so much is that it's pretty much random whether you make it across. Like, you could be at the perfect angle and be going fast enough and still not make it. And I fell victim to that several times here. No. What? That was just completely random. You could do it. Oh my God, no. Yes. Okay, we did it. After that, then there's a sort of maze that you have to sprint through quickly to get to a piston that will retract if you're too slow. I didn't so much struggle on this section per se, but I did get a little sidetracked by this room I'm in right now. No? Secret found. What's secret about this though? Okay, so that's like a timer. Yeah, that secret was not worth it. It meant that I had to do the sprint again, but at the same time, it wasn't that much of a delay. Open. Yes, alright. Okay. Oh, we did it, okay. Following that, there was yet another snake, which I don't really need to explain at this point. Then 2 sections involving brown blocks, which were also very easy. And then finally this section, which involves barrier blocks that are indicated by the glass blocks that you see on the walls. But again, it's really not that hard. Follow the glass. Y, Y, X. Yep, we did it. Okay, so now, level 9, the final level of the map. It was interesting. It was quite an adventure. Well, it's time for level 9 then. Alright, this seems interesting. Seems like quite a normal looking parkour, actually. The star is really not bad. The red sandstone part is easy. Okay. Okay, is something strange happening here? No. Alright, that's fine. Then I got to this cave section, which again isn't that bad, but a few things started to happen which really tripped me up. First, I briefly forgot that the water actually kills you, so it made for this moment right here. So now we go over this. Oh, yeah, the water kills you. Forgot about that. But that moment aside, the main thing about this stage is that for some reason, alright, I would make the jumps, which as you can see behind me, are not that difficult. But those little moss blocks that hang down from the ceiling, you could actually hit those. And when you hit those, you don't fail, but it does change your trajectory slightly. And that can result in you failing, like it happened to me several times, much to my frustration. There's like a barrier here. No. Ah! You could actually hit stuff like this momentarily. That's so trippy. Once you get past those, the part after it is not too bad, but it's not exactly free. And that's especially important because any fail here will send you back to before that moss. No! That was the last jump. Oh, that was literally the very last jump of the entire sequence. Oh. And there, it's happening again. I'm hitting like that tiny little thing in the ceiling. There we go. Then there's a little intermediate section involving cactus and cobweb. It's basically just a transition though. There's no skill involved. There definitely is skill involved though in this next section. Yeah, for some reason this ladder wall was just not fun. So yeah, we go in from the sides. No, that was too early. Okay. What actually happened was I managed to make it up in not that much time at all. Okay, well, we did it. But then, as I was making it round the side, about to finish up, you can guess what happened. Oh, it's getting exciting now, but... oh, I'm so worried about falling. No! Oh. Of course I had to fail after the really tough part. I ended up having to redo the section, and worse than that, all of a sudden I was just not able to go up those ladders at all. What? I used to be able to do this. Why am I not able to do this now? How far over are we able to go? About this far, okay. How did that happen? No! Oh, how was I able to do that earlier without much difficulty, and now it's literally impossible? Like, what? I was able to do this! Okay, there we go. I did that, but only by getting, like, really good timing. Okay, there. Finally. Don't know what was going on there, but that was easy. I was able to do that no problem, and then I just started failing non-stop. Luckily, the part after that where you go inside the tower is easy enough. Alright. This water's there to troll you, isn't it? Okay. We're inside the thing. Yeah. Okay, we finished that. When you finish that, you go on to the final section. The library. This section was just... It started off with a typical average to tough difficulty. You know, the kind of thing that you might expect for a final level. Alright. So no, that's not it. There we go. Yep. No. Why does this always happen at the end? But then I got on to this section. Now, there have been previous maps where I've skipped certain sections because I found them too difficult for me personally, or basically that the difficulty was so high that it wasn't really reasonable to try to do them because it would take hours to get through them. But this section was actually different. It's literally impossible. You can see I'm standing on the fence right here, but if I try to go onto the glowstone behind me, I'll end up not jumping high enough because it's 1.5 blocks above where I'm standing. Wait. What? Where do we go now? Can't go any further. Dude, what? How are we supposed to get beyond where we are right now? Finish there. Alright, and now... Now where do we go? This, but you can't jump up to that from this, right? No, you can't. It's too high. Are we meant to go somewhere else? Dude, what? You can't jump up to that from this, right? No, come on. Not even close. Nowhere near high enough. It's not possible. So yeah, I had to skip that section. I literally had no choice. Behind that, there's a pretty easy part that involves iron blocks. Then you get into the upper part of the library where once again, it happens. There's a part that you literally have to skip. Since this had happened twice now in a very short period, I thought I'd actually missed something. So I went down and tried to see if I missed a switcher or anything like that. But I found nothing. Is that a secret pressure plate? No, it isn't. So in the end, I decided not only to skip that little part there, but actually that I'd just finish up the map altogether. Basically, I wasn't really going to complete level 9. But I did decide to just go through the level to basically see what I missed, if you will. So I want to just explore this a little bit. What, we're past 40 minutes now. I didn't really miss that much. It's just a typical moderate to difficult final level. And to be honest, I could probably beat it. But at this point, I just basically completely run out of patience and decided I was just not going to do it. Oh my god. Oh, this has just turned horrible right at the end. Oh my god. Why do I have to fail by not jumping? That is just the most disheartening thing ever. This final jump at the end would have really done it because it's a 3-block jump that goes up 1. Not really that difficult of a jump. But since it was at the very end, it meant that failing that jump would mean going all the way back to before the iron blocks. So yeah, I wasn't going to do that. How are there no checkpoints all the way to this? Like, seriously. How are there no checkpoints? At all. Not a single one. Alright. Yeah, That is possible, but it's awful, and I'm skipping it because I've been playing to... If you do manage to finish the map, which currently is completely impossible, you unlock the editor and you could actually make your own level. That's a pretty neat feature. There aren't a lot of maps that do that. For me personally though, I didn't spend any time in here. While I am here though, I will just briefly lay down how I feel about this map. So I think that this map is pretty basic, but it isn't particularly badly designed for the most part, though there are some very obvious exceptions to that. I think the difficulty of the map was for the most part very fair and had a very good curve. Like even some of the harder parts were frustrating, but they were still well designed. It was nowhere near as bad as Sprint Lab Rerun or Swap Parkour, which I feared this map would be a similar difficulty to. Some of the power blocks were also really interesting. What's the main thing I'd fix about this level? I mean, it's pretty obvious. But apart from those literally impossible sections, I don't really know what I do. Probably just remove some of those really confusing or weird signs. A lot of them just don't make sense. But anyway, that's it for Super Blocks. If you liked the video, click the like button down below. If you want to watch the last map I played, Shuffle Parkour, you can click right here. Seriously guys, click it. That one was actually amazing. You can also watch me on Twitch around 6:30 PM on Wednesday evenings. And finally, if you're enjoying my content and want to see more, then click the subscribe button and enable notifications. Thanks for watching and have a good night or day.